Hey guys, Cody with CJC Off-Road. This is gonna be the third video on my third gen Ram project you see here behind me, and I think this is my favorite iteration yet. For those of you who have not been following along, behind me is my Old Man Tan third gen project. This started about a year ago. We found this truck out in Colorado. It's extremely low mileage, 07 5.9. I really wanted a third gen in this color. It was kind of not biased towards 5.9, 6.7, things like that. This truck, after having one dud and even flying out to purchase a different truck, landed in our lap right when my daughter was being born. So someone else flew out, got the truck for me, brought it back. Then we went ahead and did another video showing the 3-inch Carli kit, kind of restoring this truck, the PPF wrap. And again, we have a couple of different videos highlighting all of those aspects of the build. And now we have this video. This is gonna be our third video in the series. Now, if you watched the last video, I said we're gonna move from suspension onto some other more modern amenities in the truck, stereo, lighting, things like that. And the course changed. So behind me, the truck is now sitting on a Carli 3-inch Dominator system. So all of the hard parts, the coil springs, the leaf springs, everything we put on in the last video is gonna be the same. However, now the truck is riding on King 3.0 shocks. Now I know I made the sales pitch that the backcountry shock package was gonna be perfect for me. I didn't need anything more. But as luck would have it, we did have a set of these Dominator shocks get damaged by UPS in transit. And so I figured, what better use instead of paying to get them rebuilt and everything like that? I'm not too concerned about the aesthetic damage that the shock received.
So that gave me the perfect opportunity to upgrade. Now I want to talk about what's so special about the Dominator package. Instead of just being a simple shock swap, there's actually quite a lot of work involved because we're trying to shoehorn a 3-inch diameter shock, where a shock that is typically mounted is much smaller in diameter. Now in the rear, there's actually a complete replacement Carli shock mount that you can buy. I wasn't quite ready for that phase, so we went ahead and modified the factory cross member with some reinforcement plates to allow that 3-inch diameter shock to cycle. These plates are actually included with the shock package when you purchase it from Carli. Now, another thing we did is we did do a little bit of stitch welding on the factory mount. So hopefully for my uses, I won't be tearing that off, and I doubt I will. But if I did think I was really gonna jump this truck or something like that, I would do a complete replacement mount like you've seen us do in some of the other builds. Up front, we need to drill out the coil bucket to fit that 3-inch diameter shock. Again, this is just simply due to how large the shock is. You run a hole saw up through the lower coil bucket. That's gonna give you complete clearance, whether that be at full droop or full compression. The shock is gonna no longer hit the factory coil bucket. And as I mentioned, you're gonna have to run a shock tower up top. For this application, the Carli produced product currently is gonna be a fabricated shock tower. Nicole and I have been squirreling away some of these billet shock towers that Carli used to make over the years. And I think that's just something that kind of helps take this build to the next level, something that's a little bit more unique. Now, if I do decide ever to go with the long arm shocks and the long arms that Carli makes, unfortunately, I really won't be able to run these towers. But for now, I think it's quite cool. Lastly, we went with the shock wrap. With the wraps, we're using an Expel PPF film, and that's just to help these shocks look better for longer. With a lot of highway miles, you get a lot of small pits and things like that in the coating, and that's where that PPF coating or the PPF wrap really shines.
You'll also notice that it is now also rolling on a different set of wheels and tires. Similar color scheme, but I opted to test out the new Foundation 395 HD wheel. It is a flow-formed, heavy-duty 18-inch wheel. The company is specifically targeting the HD trucks, which is something we love here at CJC Off-Road. There's also gonna have a removable ring so you can kind of mess with the color combinations, things like that. Something that's pretty uncommon in the standard wheel world, something that's always reserved for beadlocks, forged wheels, things like that. But now at a lower price point, you can customize the wheel, whether it be the color of the wheel, the color of the cap, bolt hardware color, or even the ring. So there's a lot of cool options there. So I wanna try these out. I think also wanted to try out the Toyo RT Trail tire. Now, I've seen a lot of this tire being used in our shop on a lot of new customer builds. Most people prefer to kind of go with a new tire because eventually you start to see a ton of ridge grapplers or MTs out there. And this tire, I have to say, has worked quite well. The AT4s on previously were extremely quiet, and that was my goal, was just around town noise levels. Granted, it's 5.9 Cummins, but also smoothness and things like that. And I have to say that I have not noticed a single difference from the old wheel and tire combination, that is the 37-inch tire with the 17-inch wheel, to this new combination of the 18-inch wheel, 37-inch tire, but definitely a beefier tire. And I would say around town, there has been no loss of ride quality, no increased noise that I can notice. But again, this truck's quite loud at this point. So yeah, I'm extremely happy with it. And I think you guys can agree, if the truck looked good before, I think it looks killer now. The last glaring addition that we made in this phase of the build is going to be the Go Fast Camper's topper. Now, a lot of people ask, hey, did you just put a tent on your truck? This is in fact not the Go Fast Camper, this is the Go Fast Camper topper. So I know it's a mouthful, but essentially this is the same structure that the Go Fast Camper had, that like we had on the shop Power Wagon. However, this is essentially the camper shell or topper version of that. So essentially I have a completely fabricated heavy duty off-road camper shell. Unlike those fiberglass units that are slowly being phased out, it seems like they tend to crack, you know, get sun damage, things like that. This is an all aluminum structure. It can handle the truck being jumped, even though I most likely will not do this on, you know, with this truck. It's just a very unique product and something we're very happy to be carrying here at CJC Off-Road. I want to try it out and I've been stoked so far. I loaded our camper before and this is just going to be a topper. So now I take the kids down to the beach for coffee on a Saturday morning. I take them out to the woods. I go to side in my rifle, things like that, or even want to go on a hunt or a quick mountain bike ride. This will now be the rig with the covered camper shell. Unlike my other truck with a slide-in camper, this will be a little bit more the utilitarian. I can still fill this truck up, fill the bed up with whatever, go out, have some fun. It looks killer and it's actually very usable. So right, the wing door you see beside me, that allows you to access everything in the bed from the side. There's roof racks, so if you did want to add solar or more storage or bike racks, the sky's the limit. It's a very utilitarian, and there's actually, as crazy as it sounds, even though this is an aftermarket product by itself, there's now further aftermarket products for the Go Fast campers, whether that be light mounts, shower hose. I mean, the sky's the limit, and it is a really cool opportunity and a very cool platform to continue modifying your truck with. With that said, that's going to wrap up this phase of the build. I promise that the next video will be more about the creature comforts, more lighting, interior and things like that. But yeah, with all that said, let's check out the closing shots of this build and we'll see you guys on the next one.